You would think that the Air 3S beats the Mini 4 Pro in every way, but there are a couple of areas where the Mini 4 Pro actually does beat the Air 3S. Let's go test and compare these two drones from DJI and see which one might be the right drone for you.
Now, quick disclaimer, I purchased all of these drones. DJI has not sent me any of these drones. And if you want to support the channel and help me do these kind of independent reviews, then they are linked down in the description with affiliate links, and you can purchase through those links. It helps me be able to purchase and be able to review stuff like this.
So one of the big questions I had between these two drones is how's the dynamic range? Because DJI claims that the Air 3S has some of the best dynamic range of any of the drones they've ever put out, of the small consumer, prosumer drones. So here we've got a great place because it's super bright out there, it's super shadowy over here, and we're just gonna get a shot of these two drones matched as close as possible to see what the difference looks like in a pretty high dynamic range environment.
When it comes to image quality, there isn't a night and day difference. Now, there is some difference. The Air 3S definitely has a little bit better dynamic range, and it has a little bit better, more detailed image, or just a little like cleaner image, noise profile wise and stuff like that. But it's not a night and day difference on the main 24mm camera. And I ran all these tests with noise reduction at -2 and sharpening at -2 because that really does give you the best image quality overall. You can sharpen in post, you can reduce noise in post, and you get much better results. If you want to see a little more detailed explanation about that, my buddy Philip Bloom dropped a video about it. It'll be linked down in the description. But another thing that separates these two drones is slow motion modes. The Mini 4 Pro is capable of doing 4K up to 100 frames a second and 1080p up to 200 frames a second, but it outputs the file in 25 frames. And while people like Phil Bloom might love that because they're in Europe, for us it's a little bit different because then in post, if you're going to match a 30 or 24 frames a second timeline, you have to kind of mess around with the timing. The Air 3S, on the other hand, shoots 4K up to 120 frames a second and 1080 up to 240 frames a second, and then outputs a 30 FPS or 30 frames a second file. Now, the difference between the two as far as how slow everything looks is negligible, but I will say that the Air 3 definitely has much better quality slow motion in all of the modes than the Mini 4 Pro does. And another area that you'll see a fair amount of difference is in photos. This is where the 50 megapixel photos from the Air 3S are much better than I expected them to be. And while I wouldn't say that they're like, a huge, massive difference between the Mini 4's 48 megapixel photos, the 50 megapixel stills on the Air 3S definitely do look better than the 48 megapixel stills did on the Mini 4 Pro or the Air 3. Again, not a huge difference, and also if you want to avoid some of the weird sort of chromatic aberrations and odd things that happen when you shoot in those modes, then I still recommend the 12 megapixel stills. Those are the ones that to me look the nicest. They have I feel like the better dynamic range, and just they're really good photos. And then we come to low light. In my low light tests, I changed it to -1 sharpening and -1 noise reduction just to give you a little better idea of what's going on, but basically ran through all the different ISO, starting at 100 in D-Log-M up to 1600 in D-Log-M, which is where the Mini 4 Pro stops, but the Air 3S will go a little higher, up to 3200 in D-Log-M. And then I switched it to normal profile on the Air 3S and night mode on the Mini 4 Pro, and continued on up to the max ISO of 12,800. It's hard to tell. I think the Air 3S definitely does a better job in low light overall. There wasn't as much of a difference as I was expecting there to be, but the Air 3S, at least to me, definitely does do a little bit better. And then just to show you, I ran a test showing the Air 3S at -1 sharpening and -2 noise reduction, all the way up to +1 noise reduction to show you what it does to the image. It definitely just kind of gets rid of a lot of the detail and ruins it. My personal preference is to run -2 noise reduction, -2 sharpening, and then sharpen and reduce noise in post because you get much better results.
Now, one of the biggest advantages that the Air 3, Air 3S series has is the fact that it gives you 2 camera options. One is that typical 24mm, which has great image quality on both the Mini 3 or Mini 4 Pro and also on the Air 3, Air 3S. The big difference though with the Air 3 series is that 70mm camera, the 3X camera, which gives you a whole different compression and the way to compose your shots that gives you some very interesting effects. So while we are going to do more at the top of this mountain, I want to show you right here exactly the exact difference between 24mm and 70mm in the field of view. In spite of what you might think, the Air 3S does not beat the Mini 4 Pro in every area. And one of those areas is vertical video. Now, both of these drones will film vertical video, but their approach is very different. If you film a lot of vertical content, the Mini series, or the Mini 4 especially, is really hard to beat because it actually rotates the entire gimbal, giving you a full 4K up to 60 frames or 100 frames a second, depending on what you shoot, but like full 4K readout is the big thing. Whereas the Air 3, Air 3S series doesn't rotate the gimbal because it's fixed, as you can see here, but it gives you a vertical crop of 2.7K up to 30 or 60 frames a second. I don't remember exactly what, but it does give you vertical video, still very nice and very usable. But if you are a primarily vertical content creator, the Mini 4 is really hard to beat because you get that full sensor readout in vertical video mode. And then we come to active track. And honestly, both of these drones active track really well and have a lot of options for ways that you can track yourself. They both have the latest or some of the latest active track algorithms from DJI. There is one big difference between the two that we'll get to in just a second, but they both offer this way to sort of tell the drone where you want it to go around you and have it track you. And they both have this auto mode, which just gives you sort of a variety of different spots and positions, which works well. But the big problem with active track is obstacle avoidance. And while both of these drones do have really good obstacle avoidance, like, I mean, very good, any obstacle avoidance is really dependent on what it can see. And tiny little thin branches like this, sometimes it can't see those, even in a well-lit environment like this. Well, obstacle avoidance failure there. Failed to see these branches right here. So while the active track works amazing, it really does. And if you're a content creator or somebody who films yourself, or you want to get shots of yourself out doing stuff when you're traveling, either one of these drones does a great job. The big difference is when it comes to the Air 3S's top speed in being able to active track. The Mini 4 Pro or the Mini series, actually every drone up till this point has been limited to about 25 miles an hour for active track speeds. But the Air 3 has increased that, or the Air 3S has increased that to a little over 30 miles an hour. So you can actually track much faster moving objects with the Air 3. Hey, if you're enjoying or getting value out of this video, then consider subscribing. I go out and test and compare in the most rugged conditions I can find to give you good information, usually in Alaska where I live, but sometimes in other places like this. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, and you can always unsubscribe later. Another area that the Mini 4 series beats the Air 3 series is when it comes to travel. Not only do you have less regulation to worry about because they're under 249 grams, if you use the lightweight battery. If you don't, then they're not under. But traveling with them is by far the easiest because most countries don't consider them on the same level as other larger drones. So you may not be restricted, or as restricted as if you might be if you have an Air 3, Air 3S, Mavic 3 Pro, something like that, to be able to fly in areas. And that includes the European Union, where you have to have specific licenses for larger drones. The Mini 4, the Mini series is much easier to take with you, but it's also much easier just because it's tiny. It takes up no space in your bag. You take a lot of batteries. It is such a small drone. But there is an area where the Mini 4 Pro really does not do well compared to the Air 3S. So this is one of the areas where the Air 3S or the Air 3 series does much better than the Mini series. It's a little bit windy. Wind is coming from that side. The Air 3 just holds a much more stable position, so if you're filming close to somebody, like I am right now, it will give you a much more stable shot, whereas if you're filming far away, it doesn't matter so much. But here you can see the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro. Like the Mini 4 Pro is definitely struggling to keep its position and its stability. Even though it smooths out that in the footage, you can still see the movement. So that is something that if you film in a lot of areas where there's a lot of wind, the Air 3S or the Air 3 series is definitely going to be a better option for you. And then we come to speed, which there is a significant difference between these two drones when it comes to speed. Also, side note, being in the desert at 90 something degrees one day and then 24 hours later being at minus whatever it is, -8 or -9 right now, not very recommended. It's quite a shock to the system. But let's do a little quick speed test here and show you there's some dramatic difference between these two drones in speed. Now, obviously you have to be in sport mode to get the most amount of speed, but you'll see here, like I'm already hitting 46 miles an hour, 47, 48, 50. And the Air 3S is pretty impressive that if you just punch it, you can actually get all the way up to 60 miles an hour if there's a slight tailwind. I've never actually gotten it up to 60 without a slight tailwind. But then the other thing that it does is ascends 22 miles an hour and descends at 22 miles an hour, which is terrifyingly fast. And just to show you that it can with a slight tailwind, here is a clip from another time when I actually did have a slight tailwind and was able to get it all the way to 60 miles an hour, actually in this same area just a couple of weeks ago, which seems insane now because it's so much colder and so much more frozen. Now, even in sport mode, the Mini 4, the Mini series is just significantly slower. It's respectable for such a small drone. It'll hit 34, 35 miles an hour, maybe 36. Depending on the conditions today. We'll see. Yep, there we go. Almost 36. Which is, you know, almost half the speed. But then it will climb 11-ish miles an hour, which is half the speed. And it will descend also at 11 miles an hour, which is, again, half the speed. So significantly slower and significantly less powerful. Shouldn't be surprising considering the size of the drone. This is an audio test of the Air 3. It is about right there, so arm's length away. I'd say 1.5 meters away from the camera right now. But yeah, Air 3S. So now I've got the Mini 4 Pro exactly in the same spot that the Air 3S was, just at the edge of my fingertip, 1.5 meters away from the camera, 4.5 feet. And this is how it sounds. And then there's battery life and flight time. Now, both of these actually offer very similar battery life and flight times if you use the longer flight time batteries, which puts you over that 249 gram limit, the 250 grams. So that is where you get, you know, about, 8 minutes less flight time or so with the lighter weight batteries than the Air 3S, but you can get longer flight time if you can get the larger, heavier batteries. So not a huge difference there. That being said, though, I will say that the Mini 4 or the Mini series struggles much more in very hot environments or very cold environments. Because the Air 3 has a fan built in, it won't overheat in hot environments as easily. One of the reasons that the Mini 4 or the Mini series is a little bit worse. It's not particularly warm out here today. It's a couple degrees above freezing. But because it's so cold, the Mini 4 IMUs are refusing to calibrate. So now I can't even take it off safely because it wants me to recalibrate the IMUs. Where the Air 3S series or the Air 3 series has been fantastic, even well into the negative like 10, 15, 20 Fahrenheit. So what is that, like negative 20 to negative 30 Fahrenheit, Celsius? So very cold, and it's been great.
And that brings us to price, which is probably the biggest determining factor. If you're going to get the Mini 4 Pro, it starts at $759 and goes all the way up to $1,000, $1,100, depending on the package you get. And if you want the longer flight time batteries or the regular flight time batteries. So $1,100, $750, all the way up to $1,100. But then if we look at the Air 3S, the Air 3S, starts at $1,100 and then goes all the way up to $1,500, $1,600, depending on the package you want. So you're jumping up about $500 in price for a fair amount more performance, but also do you need that much more performance, or do you want to carry around that much more performance? Because that's also a factor.
Next, you're going to want to watch this video right here. I'll see you over there. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights from 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we can have a conversation. I can answer questions that maybe I didn't get to in this video, at least if I'm not out in some place like this. I'll see you again soon in the next one. Cheers.